Good morning, yogis. Welcome to another online yoga session. We will, of course, have a well-rounded practice as always, but today we'll focus on forward folding. Forward foldings can be very pacifying and calming and soothing. And a lot of times I find that they can be challenging for folks if you have tight low back or tight hamstrings. And there's always a tendency to push, right? Because especially when you're practicing together, you compare yourself and you want to, there's, desire to go deeper into your forward fold, comparing ourselves with others to go as deep as other people. And that can be really challenging and not serving. So we're going to do a lot of forward folding, and we'll even conclude with a restorative, sort of a yin style forward fold with a lot of props. So for this practice, you'll need your blocks, a strap, maybe a blanket if you have one, and a pillow or a bolster to fold over. And once you gather those props, if you could come onto your mat, we'll start in Shavasana. So let's come onto our backs. And just find a comfortable position. Just come onto your back. Let your feet drop out. And if you plan to use it, you might want to have your strap handy, within an arm's reach. But just take a moment to settle in here. Feel supported by the earth. Connect your awareness to your breath. Noticing how you're feeling today so that you can inform how you move. Allow the breath to deepen and be smooth and easy. Inhaling and exhaling. So take one more breath cycle here, and we'll take our first stretch. Because this isn't Shavasana, we're going to be moving. Bring your legs together. Extend your arms on the earth next to your ears, so you're just in a sort of a standing mountain. And then we're going to take a side bend. And you can walk your legs and your arms as far over to the right as possible without that left shoulder lifting off. So this is kind of like your standing half moon. And breathe here. You can even with the right hand take grab the left wrist, give it a tug, and deepen that side bend. And breathe here, breathing into the left side. Now we're just going to take a few breaths here, but if you were inclined, this could be a pose that you could hold for a period of time. It's a yin pose where we would hold it for 3 to 5 minutes to kind of lengthen and activate the meridian lines, the subtle energy lines in the side body. Yeah, good. Take one more breath and then come back to center. Release your clasp if you took a clasp on the wrist. Pause in the middle. And then when you're ready, go to the other side. So first, just walk your legs over to the left. Maybe you have to lift your chest up and bring it over to the left a little bit too. And then your left hand could give a little gentle tug to the right wrist. And take care that the right shoulder doesn't lift off the earth. It might drop back down. And breathe. Breathe into that whole right side body. Just take 3 to 5 breaths. And then come back to center. Walk yourself back to center. Release your arms by your sides. And then bend your knees and bring your knees in towards your chest this time. Seated or supine child's pose, and essentially your first forward fold. So anytime you bring your legs in towards your torso, you're taking a forward fold. And since this is our first one, let's rock side to side a little bit. Maybe make circles with the knees and massage the back body. And then go in the other direction. And then you can bring that movement to stillness. You can give the legs one more squeeze, really draw it in, head to knees, knees to head. Good. And then stay here for a moment. Interlace both hands around the right leg and extend the left leg onto the earth. Now you, of course, can keep the knee bent and the foot on the floor, or you could extend the leg so that the heel comes on the floor. Pull your right leg in and extend through the left heel. So this is an active pose. It's Apanasana, that wind relieving pose. This is a nice stretch for the low back. Take another breath. Now you can stay on this version, but and you can use your strap if you like, because we're going to extend our right leg. So if you want, you can bring your strap around the right heel or ball of foot and have one end of the strap in each hand. Keep extending through the left heel, or both heels, really, and drawing the left hamstring down as you draw your right leg up. So to have more freedom in a forward fold, we really need to have our hamstrings a little looser. So this is really good to stretch out our hamstrings here in preparation for some forward foldings. And breathe. But always honoring where you are. If in any of these poses you feel pain in your hamstring or your low back, then you might want to soften the knees and go a little easier. So you'll see what feels comfortable for you. Take another breath or two here, and then put both ends of the strap in your left hand, and let's let that leg drop over to the left as your right arm and gaze go to the right. Take a little twist here. And keep activating through the left leg. Draw your right rib cage down. Breathe into the upper lungs. Take another breath or two. Bring the leg back up to center. Good. Let's go in the other direction, just like we did last week. Markasana. So put both ends of the strap in your right hand. Extend through your heel, and just let that leg go out as far to the side as feels comfortable for you. And there's probably a tendency to kind of roll over onto that right leg. So don't. See if you can let your left hand help ground that left leg so the leg externally rotates and only go as far to the right as your hip will allow. And you're holding it with your strap, you're extending through the heel. So we're starting to get a little stretch in the groin and the inner thighs, which will also help because we'll do a couple wide-legged forward folds. Take one more breath, and then bring your leg back to center. And you can use the strap, so put an end in one in each hand to lower your leg down, and then switch. So you can put your bottom leg into the strap. And, before we lift our leg back up, let's pull the left knee in toward our chest. We had this stage first, Apanasana. So the left knee in, and extend through your right heel. Pull it in, give it a squeeze. Again, this is an active pose. We're extending through both legs, drawing our left leg in as much as we're able to as we extend through the right heel. Good. Take another breath. And then when you're ready, you can use your strap or just extend the leg without the strap. So extending left leg to sky. Pull the leg in a little bit more if you're able to. Just honoring the hamstrings, so keeping the knee soft. So that's the other thing. Sometimes we want to force and we try to straighten the leg when we should really just have a nice gentle bend to the knee. And then put both ends of the strap in your right hand and let that strap help guide the left leg to the right as your left arm and gaze go to the left. So feel this is a little twist too. Noticing the difference from side to side. Take one more breath here. And then bring the leg back up to center. Let's switch hands with the strap. So left hand takes the strap and guides your left leg to the left, as your right hand maybe helps ground the right leg or extends out to the right to keep you from rolling to the left. Take one more breath there. The next inhale, let's come back to center. We can now use that strap to support the leg to come all the way down to the earth. And just take a moment to notice how that felt. A little more lengthening in the body. And so let's bring our knees in toward our chest one more time for that seated or supine child's pose. Squeeze the legs in, head to knees. Good. So a little deepening of this forward fold now as we lift our head toward our knees. And then lower your head down and roll over onto your left side so we can come up to seated. Come up to seated. Great. Okay. All right. Oh, sorry. I don't know. I was getting a message there. Okay. So now let's find a Virasana. So we're going to work our core a little bit here. And if you can sit in this knee down posture here, that's great. If you need a prop between your legs to sit on, that would be fine too. Or you could even put a blanket between your hamstrings and your heels or your calves. Good. All right. And pause here for a moment. So just take a moment to get settled. And so this is going to work our core a little bit. So bring both hands behind your back. So they're just gently resting on your back. And then release your right arm, bring it up to the sky, and then hinge forward until you can go all the way down and lower your hand down, and then inhale and rise up. So we're trying to cultivate a little core and bring your arm back behind the back as we lift up. So draw the navel in, engage the belly, extend the left arm up to the sky, inhale here, exhale, hinge forward, lower the hand down, and then inhale, rise back up with a little core strength. And then left hand goes behind the back and we switch. So continue like that a few times. Exhale, hinging. Good, lowering your hand. Inhale, core brings you up. And then lower back down. So continue like that. So it's really important to keep our core engaged in our forward folds because it'll help to keep our natural curve in our lumbar spine and the neutral pelvis, because sometimes in the forward folds there might be a tendency to exaggerate the low back curve. So one more time each side, and to tilt your pelvis forward or backward. And so, yeah, so we'll talk about that as we take one. So we'll finish one more side. Lower down, engage the belly, rise back up. Right hand behind the back. Inhale, exhale, and inhale, and rise back up, and release your arms. So hopefully you felt a little core engagement here. And now let's come into our tabletop posture. Move your knees back a little bit so hands are underneath the shoulders. Inhale as you send your tailbone to the sky and lift your gaze. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. And continue like that a few times. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. Good. Nice. And one more. And the next exhale, next time you're in your cat back, draw your hips back towards your heels and take another child's pose and notice how it feels now. Again, always keeping your head lifted, your hips lifted, always adjusting the posture for how you're feeling in your body. Take one more breath. And then we'll rise up back to tabletop, but send our hands a little farther forward and take either puppy pose or downward facing dog that we'll use to transition. So lift your hips towards the sky as you bring your legs towards straighter. If you want, you can pedal your feet out for this first round. Extending one heel down towards the earth and then switch. And then bend your knees and send your hips all the way up to the sky. So like you're trying to lift your sits bones up towards the sky and even separate them slightly. So your head comes between your arms and you've got a lot of length in your torso. So focus on the length. And even bend your knees a little bit more and draw your heels back. Good. Breathe here, engaging the belly. Inhale and exhale. Take 2 more breaths. And then bend your knees a little bit more and walk your hands in. Walk your hands towards your feet. And then hang out in your forward fold for a moment or two, if you can. You can always bring your hands onto blocks if you need to lift out of the posture. And then bend your knees a little bit more. Or bend them a lot until your belly's on your thighs. Okay, so again, your hands could be on the earth or your blocks, whatever feels comfortable for you. Make sure your feet are about hips distance apart now. Good, and you're sitting back towards your heels. We're kind of like in an awkward chair posture. Actually, I'm going to come a little forward now so everyone can see. And now you're grounding through your feet, but see if you can lift the 3rd and 4th toe, or the last 2 toes. See if you can lift them up a little bit. And then ground them down and press to the outside edges of your feet. And maybe you notice that outer shins, the outer calves engage. Draw your heels and hips back. See if you can sort of draw your inner thighs toward each other so they engage. So the whole lower body is engaged. Good. Walk your hands out a little bit and send your hips back more. Get a nice stretch here. Really feel the legs are activating. Good. And then from here, can you bring your legs towards straighter and take our first forward fold here? with straight legs, that is, and breathe. So only straighten the legs as much as feels comfortable for you. Take one more breath, and then bend the knees again until your belly's on your thighs. Bring your hands onto your hips. Lift your chest. Keep sitting back into your awkward chair, into your squat here, and then send your arms out in line with your ears. Utkatasana. Beautiful. And breathe. Feel the lower body ground down as your upper body is lifting. Keep the natural curve to your spine, to your lumbar spine. Engage your belly. Take one more breath, and then press the earth away with your strong legs to rise you up. Arms reach up towards the sky, and then we lower our arms by our sides. Good. And pause here. Notice how you're feeling now. All right, so let's have our 2 blocks handy for some standing postures. And I'll start on this side, I believe. So I'll come here so you can see, we're going to start with our right leg. All right, so we'll just, we'll take another forward fold to get us into our warrior 1 posture. So your feet can be hips distance apart or touching. Give a little tone to the belly. And notice if you have a tendency to have your pelvis tilt forward, and then that's going to cause more of a lumbar curve. Notice if you have a tendency to tilt your pelvis back, and it's going to cause more of a upper body rounding, a kyphotic curve. So either one is maybe not the best for our posture, for our energy, for our breath. So see if you can find that neutral place. And maybe just by engaging your belly, you're going to find that. So draw the navel in. Okay. Grounding through the legs, so your kneecaps are lifting. Take a big inhale, sun breath, arms out to the sides, up to the sky. And then exhale, hinge from your hips and swan dive, forward bend. Just go down nice and easy, softening the knees, hands on the earth or onto your blocks. Rise up halfway. And then exhale and fold one more time. Bring your hands up to frame your feet and send the left leg back. Bend your right knee until it's over the center of your foot. Good. Take another breath. And we're going to get ready to go into our warrior 1 posture. So it might be that for stability purposes, you'd like to separate your feet. So I just walked my right foot out to the right a little bit, or my left foot out to the left. I could even plant my left foot. You can use your hand on your right thigh to rise up, or core strength as you rise all the way up into warrior 1 posture. And if you find that once you got up here, you need a little more width between your legs, do that now. So you're nice and stable. Good. And then let's go in and out of it a couple of times. So straighten your right leg, lower your arms, and then inhale, bend the knee and lift. And then exhale and straighten. Good. And then bend the knee and lift. Good. One more time. Straighten. I'm even extending my back heel to get a little stretch on my calf. And then bend and lift. Nice. Now this next time, come into your warrior 1. Maybe interlace your fingers into Sapana Mudra when you make that little steeple with your fingers. So interlacing all fingers except the pointer. Look up towards your hands. And maybe take a little bit of a back bend here as you lunge a little deeper. Good. Nice. Inhale and exhale. Take one more breath. And then come back to neutral. Mind your pelvic tilt, so draw the navel in. Release your arms. Good. And then hinge forward into a diagonal. Starting to fire up the core, just like we did in that Virasana forward fold. And then rise up, rise back up, straighten your leg. Now I just grounded my back heel. I'm going to bring my right hand onto my hip and use that to make sure that I'm drawing my right hip back, because we're still in a warrior 1 position, so we want to have a frontal orientation toward the short side of the mat. Ground the back leg. Maybe ideally we're straightening both legs, but I always keep a nice micro bend to my front leg. So just notice that. Hand on the hip, and then hinge forward. Pause when your torso is parallel to the earth. And just like we did in that diagonal, you're taking a lot of core strength to support yourself here. You're lengthening your torso from your hips to the fingertips. The back leg is grounding, so it's getting a nice stretch. I'm drawing my right hip back to get a stretch in the front leg. Now rise back up. You can just be here on this neutral, or you can take a little back bend if you like. If you want a little extra balance, challenge. And then this next time we'll do that. We'll pause here when your torso is parallel. You can stay here and bring your hand onto your thigh as we take a twist, or you could lower your hand down onto your block. Pause here. Good, drawing right hip back. Lift your torso, get long, and start to rotate to your right. Maybe send your right arm up to the sky for revolved triangle. Take 1 or 2 more breaths here. And then slowly lower your hand down. Pause, lift up, get long again. And then exhale, take all that length into a standing forward fold. Good. So keep the back leg grounded and soften your front leg if you need to. Melt your heart towards your leg. It doesn't matter how far we go, just let that heart melt and sink. Take 1 more breath. Good. And then we're gonna come into a standing split. So start to soften the right knee so you can put the weight into the right leg. You can use your blocks, or you can just bring your hands onto the earth. Start to step in with your left leg. Put the weight into the right leg and lift the left leg up and then lower it down. So just raise and lower it a couple times. See where you're going with your standing split. And then the next time, lift that leg all the way up, as high as is comfortable for you. Activate your lifted leg, pressing through the ball of your foot. Maybe you can hold on to your right leg with your right hand, or both hands. As you lift that leg to the sky and bring your head towards your knee, or your heart towards your knee. Take 1 more breath, and then slowly lower your leg down. Good. Back into your forward fold. Bend your knees until your belly's on the thighs again. Activate the legs. Press through the outer calves, squeezing the inner thighs toward each other, and then draw them apart so they're active. Send your hips back. Reach your arms forward. Reach your arms forward again. You can keep your head lifted. Maybe bring the legs towards straighter. And notice your forward fold here. It's almost like a very short downward facing dog. And then bend the knees until your belly's on your thighs. Bring your hands onto your hips. Stay in your squat and lift your chest. Sweep your arms around towards your awkward chair pose. Pinkies toward each other. Maybe sinking a little deeper into your squat here. And then use your strong legs to rise you up. Arms overhead. Arms by your sides. All right. So let's try that on the other side. If you used your blocks, gather your blocks. Come back to the top of your mat. I'm going to come to this side. All right. Nice. And we'll go through a forward fold. Take a big sun breath. Arms out to the sides, up to the sky. Take an extension if you like, just a gentle one. Exhale, hinge from your hips, forward fold. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale and fold and send your right leg back. Bend the left knee. Widen your feet if you like. Use the support of your left leg to rise up, or just use core strength. And find your warrior one posture. Good. And let's flow into it a couple of times. So inhale here, exhale, straighten your left leg and lower your arms. Good. Inhale, bend the knee and rise up. And exhale and straighten. Inhale and rise up. Exhale and straighten. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Straightening the leg and lowering the arms. And then bend the knee again. Send your arms to the sky. Now hold it here and maybe lift your gaze, interlacing your hands, except for the pointer fingers in Sapana Mudra, and maybe look up to the fingers, maybe reaching up and back and taking a little extension. Take one more breath, and then come out of your extension, find a neutral spine, neutral pelvis, engaged belly, release your hands. Hinge forward into your diagonal warrior. So you're at this 45-degree angle from your fingertips to your back heel. Feel the core is firing up, just like it did before in our Virasana folds. And then rise back up. Good. Straighten your leg. Maybe ground the back foot and bring your left hand onto your hip. Okay, so preparing for our revolved triangle in our pyramid posture. So draw the left hip back, hinge forward, arm in line with your ear. Okay. And then rise back up. You could take an extension here if you like. And then exhale, hinge forward. Pause again when your torso is parallel to the earth, arm in line with your ear. You could bring your hand onto your right hand onto your thigh or onto a block. Stay here. So you may have to adjust your stance a little bit, shortening it, bending the front knee, but ground through your back leg and draw your left hip back if you can. Lift your torso so it's in line with your hips and tone your belly. Start to rotate to your left and maybe send your left arm to the sky. Inhale and exhale, maybe open up a little bit more. Inhale and exhale, one more breath. Inhale and then exhale and lower your hands down and come into your pyramid and fold here, head to knee. Again, the back leg is your foundation. The front knee softens if you need to. And you can walk your hands back, melt yourself a little deeper. So suit the practice to how you're feeling on this side, which might be a little different. Take one more breath. And then let's come forward. Soften the front knee and start to put the weight into that front leg. So maybe you're going to use blocks again, maybe not. And then you can lift your right leg and lower it. It's always a little more challenging to move in a balanced pose. And the next time that you lift the leg, pause and hold it there. So if you can bring that standing leg towards straighter, activate the lifted leg, and find your standing split. Maybe you can bring your left hand onto your ankle, and you can use your arm strength to pull your head towards your knee. Maybe both hands come on the ankle. Take another breath or two. And then when you're ready, you can slowly lower that leg down. Back into your forward fold. Bend your knees until your belly's on your thighs. Activate the outer feet, the outer shins. Hips draw back. Inner thighs engage. Good. Maybe hands reach forward as you go into this very, very short version of a downward facing dog. Good. And then from here, can you bring your legs towards straighter? And then bend the knees until your belly's on your thighs again. Bring your hands to your hips. Lift your chest. Good. Sweep your arms forward. Utkatasana. Sink a little deeper into your awkward chair pose. And then use your strong legs to rise you up. Arms overhead. Arms wide to the side. And bring them by your sides. And notice how you're feeling now. So let's do one more balance. We will go through our awkward chair pose, but we'll turn it into a hip opener. So you might want to have a wall or a chair nearby. We're going to take a figure 4 in our awkward chair pose. So you can start with your hands on your hips, or as I said, it may be, a hand on a wall, or even on a chair. Bend your knees. Yep, bend your knees in your awkward chair pose, and then shift your weight to your right leg and see if you can cross the right ankle over the left knee. You can even get your hands, be on your foot or your knee and come into your squat here. Your hands could stay here at heart center. Good. And breathe. You could even hinge all the way down so your elbows rest on your knee and your ankle. Take one more breath. Doesn't matter how low we go, right? We're just getting a nice outer hip stretch, and then slowly rise up. Okay, other side. So you can go into your squat first if that's helpful, keeping the pelvis neutral, and then pick up the left ankle and bring it over the right knee. Maybe sink a little deeper. Still honor the standing knee. Make sure you can see your toes, that there's no straining there. Hand on the foot or the knee to keep your figure 4 shape. Or you could challenge your balance a little more with hands up prayer, or hinge a little deeper. Take one more breath. Then come on up. Nice. Good job, everyone. So let's now go down onto our mat. Let's go back to our mat into a seated forward fold. Okay, so here's where you might want to have all your props handy. Let's take a wide-legged fold for starters. And so, here is where it might really show up whether you, that tilt of your pelvis, that anterior tilt or posterior tilt. Generally, I think maybe a lot of people roll it back. So it might be helpful to sit up on a little blanket and sit on the edge of it so that you can almost get a little bit of almost of a forward tilt. But more than a purposeful tilt in one direction or another, you just really want to have your natural lumbar curve. You want to keep a toned belly so that maybe you're drawing your low ribs down towards the pelvis. Your legs are as wide as you're able to. Notice how it feels in the backs of the knees to protect your knees or even your hamstrings. So you might want to bend the knees, put blocks underneath the knees. Good. And then let's take our forward fold by just walking our hands forward. So you want to keep the hips grounded, the feet kind of turned away so your legs are active. So there's your stable base, just like we did in our standing posture. And then you're going to keep your spine neutral and you're just hinging from your hips. You're just bending from the hips. So don't worry about how far you go, right? Just go as far as you're able to. And think about melting your heart forward. And when we do that too, take care to not jut your chin up. Keep your head in line with your spine as well. And just take a forward fold here and breathe. Good. Take one more breath. And then let's rise up. And from here, we'll take a seated back bend, just to kind of take a little counter pose. So you can bring your hands to the outside of your legs, just behind you. I have my fingertips facing forward so that my elbows draw together, and that'll help to draw my shoulder blades together as I lift my heart. Maybe I want to lift my gaze a little to get a little extension of my neck. Just do what feels comfortable for you, lifting your heart. Good. And then come back to neutral, and maybe you windshield wipe your legs, bend the knees, just bring them back together after that. Give them a little shake. Good. All right, and now we'll take Janu Shirsasana. So we did it last week, the twisted version, the revolved version. Now we'll take the straight version. So bend the right knee and bring that foot to the inner thigh, or to wherever. You know, it could even be, like I said, crossing the leg, on the calf, or the inner thigh. And see if you can press that foot against your extended leg, just as, again, as the foundation. Here's your stable base. Okay, both legs are active. The left toes are facing the sky. You're extending through the heel. Honor the knee. Again, put something behind the left knee if that's too much. Give a little tone to the belly. Rotate your torso just a little bit because we're going to try to fold over the left leg. All right, and then you might want to use your strap, but like we did in our forward fold, keep your core engaged, keep the natural curve of your lumbar spine, and then melt your heart towards your leg while keeping your head in line with your spine. Careful not to jut the chin. Okay, and just go as far as feels comfortable for you. You've got the foundation of your legs, and then you're just melting your heart over the legs, over that foundation. And breathe here. So this pose is Janu Shirsasana, means head to knee pose. Janu is knee, Shirsasana is head. And a lot of times when, if you think about what it is, if the directional aspect of it from an anatomical point of view, we would round our spine if we were trying to bring our head toward our knee. So that's why I usually cue us to bring our heart toward our knee. And keep your spine long, your belly engaged. Take one more breath here. And then, make sure, again, re-engage your belly if you just kind of relaxed it while we were down here. And then lift up with core strength. Good. And then we're going to bring our right leg up. We'll take a twist before we go to the other side. So this one, we're going to do a little reclined version. So I'll move my blanket out of the way. And I'm going to turn sideways. So Marichasana. So let's come down onto the left elbow. So come onto the left elbow. Actually, wait, I should turn this way. Come onto your left elbow. And then bring your right arm to the inside of the leg. And your legs are still going forward and they're active, and then I'm rotating to my left. Okay, feels nice, right? Lifting your heart, taking a little nice twist. And then we're going to build it. So when you're ready, take one more breath here. Oops, I feel like my right hip was coming up. Ground that hip down. So you're just taking a little twist. And then lift your torso up. Press your left hand into the earth. Keep it behind you a little bit so that your torso is long here. And you've got the resistance of your right arm and leg for your twist. Okay? Now, stay long. Keep lifting. And then you could even come a little closer to close the gap between your knee and your armpit if you want, but don't sacrifice length in your torso. Rotate more to the left if you can. You know, the left leg is active too. And then I'm going to bend my right elbow and bring my hand to my heart. And breathe here. Using the left, and don't let the right knee might try to drop out to the side. Keep pressing the right leg against your right elbow to give you more of a twist. Keeping your torso long. So as we move along in these versions of Marichasana, there's A, B, and C, and they involve clasps, binding, and you would reach around and grab. But when we do that, the fold rounds, and so for today's purposes, we're keeping a flat back in all of our forward folds. So we're keeping length here, even in our twist. Take one more breath, and then unwind. You can extend your legs a little bit with knees soft. Let's take a seated forward fold. You could child's pose, seated child's pose. Good. Nice. Good. And take one more breath here. And then lift up. You can take a little back bend here if you like, by bringing your hands by your hips, lifting your heart. You could even take a reverse table if that would feel nice right now. So just lift up, lifting the hips, drawing the knees away. And maybe looking at your feet. If your hips don't come in line with your knees, keep your gaze forward. If the hips get in line with the knees, then you can let your head drop back if you want. And then slowly lower down, and we'll go to the other side. Janushirasana, second side. So this time we will bend our left leg. So I didn't say it before, but again, if you want, you can always have blocks here, or I'm sorry, have a strap here. I was thinking block too. I'll show that in maybe our next fold. So you can always use your straps if it's more comfortable. But again, make sure that if you do use a strap in this version, that you're not pulling so much that, because I feel like when I do that, I might pull and extend my neck. So just don't mind your core engagement, the length in your torso. Both legs active, your navel, your torso folds over the right leg and go down as far as feels comfortable for you. Core is engaging. We're melting our heart, but keeping our torso long. Take one more breath here. Good. And then when you're ready to rise up, engage your core if you kind of forgot about it and relaxed it, and with length, rise up. Good. Nice. And let's take our reclining twist. So we'll bring the left knee up towards the sky. I'm going to go back onto the right elbow, and the left arm's to the inside of that leg. And I'm going to start to, twist a little bit to the right. This may be where I even choose to stay. And then when you're ready, use some core to rise up. Keep that arm to the inside of the leg. Keep that leg drawing in so it becomes leverage for your twist. The right hand grounds down, even if you have to put a block back there to lift up and get long. Rotate more to the right. And then, if you can, bend your elbow and bring it onto your heart. Keep the right leg active too. Inhale and exhale here. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly unwind. Now we're going to finish. Well, if you want to take one more back bend, you can. If that might feel what you need right now to lengthen up, to extend a little bit, you can do it from Dandasana, from your reverse table or reverse plank, up to you. And then where we're going to head is into a yin pose, into our seated forward fold. Right? So it'll be kind of like our Paschimottanasana with our straight legs, and we're going to fold over those legs. If this is too much for your hamstrings or in your lower back, then soften your knees and prop under your knees. So I'll give you some time to set that up. And then, so I might just, to make it, because I want it to be really comfortable, I might just have a blanket under my knees. I might use my blocks. And a pillow. I'm nice and comfortable. And then I'm going to fold forward. Make sure you can breathe well. And if maybe once you get into it, you're like, oh, I feel too propped up. I'm not feeling, this is our last posture. So you might want it to be a little bit more restorative anyway. Or as you go, you can just really remove a block out of the way. And then breathe here. So in our yin practice, we take a shape and we choose to slow down. And then we're just with that shape. And it gives us an opportunity to just kind of surrender to the posture. And to allow our nervous system to relax. It gets into deep connective tissue. And then it activates these subtle energy lines that move throughout the body. In yoga, we call them nadis. In the yin practice or Chinese medicine, they're called meridians. And these activate, again, our energy and connect to our organs and organ pairs. So this forward fold, as it activates the back body, activates our kidney and bladder. And so both of which are associated with just essential energy, vital energy, our essence, our life force. And so when we're stressed out, they could be imbalanced, they could be just overworked. So that's why it's good, these forward folds, to calm the nervous system. And they kind of are like when we studied Arshvara Pradhyana, the fifth niyama, that idea of surrendering, of devoting yourself to your light, to something greater. The pratyahara, the withdrawal of senses, the fifth yama, or fifth limb rather. So this slowing down, it's coming inward. Nourishing our vital energy, our life force, so that all of our other organs can function well, so that for overall health and well-being. So take a few more breath cycles here. And then in your own time, you can remove your props out of the way. If you have a roll underneath your knees or your hamstrings, you might want to move it up to the hamstrings a little bit so that when you roll down onto your back, that helps the low back draw down. You can maybe send your arms out to the side, spin your palms up to the sky. Noticing how you're feeling now. Taking a big inhale and exhaling it out. Returning to your breath. Allowing it to be smooth and easy. Letting go of any control, any ujjayi. Just let it be. Let it flow in and out. It's natural. It requires no effort. Just surrender here to the support of the earth as we integrate our practice, restore our vital energy, and absorb the shanti, the peace of yoga. Love yourself enough to relax. Our bodies react to the world around us and within us in many ways. Our bodies act like sponges. They can soak up healing energy, or they can absorb and trap the negative energy of stress and tension. Some of us are so used to keeping our bodies tense and bound up, we don't even notice how much they hurt, how strained and tight our muscles are. Connect with your body. Learn to tell how tense it is. Take a few moments throughout the day to see what hurts, what aches, what muscles have been strained. Although tension can infect the entire body, many of us have favorite places in our body to store stress, places that usually become tense, rigid, and full of aches. Necks, shoulders, lower backs are favorite traps. Become familiar with your body and where it stores stress and tension. Then learn to relax. Explore different options: therapeutic massage, self-hypnosis, meditation, soaking in a hot bath, a steam room, yoga, visualization. Take time to do activities that bring you pleasure. If you make the effort to explore relaxation techniques, you will find ways to relax that you like and can afford. If you've been soaking up too much stress, give yourself a break. Let your body start soaking up some healing energy too. Love yourself enough to help your body relax. So allow your breath to deepen. Gently rock your head from side to side. Bring movement to fingers and toes. Take a big stretch, extending from fingers to toes. Maybe give your legs another squeeze in a supine child's pose. And then roll over onto your right side with bent or straight legs, resting there for another moment or two. And then when you're ready, rise up to a comfortable seat. Bring a little tone to the belly again to support the spine. Draw your hands to heart center. And let's seal our practice with a gentle Om. Namaste.